Hello, dear sisters. I have a wonderful surprise for all of us today. And with me is grandmother Threecrow. And I met her in a very amazing way. I was listening to a podcast on Audible, and she was talking. It was part of a shamanic conference. And I was in tears when you were talking. And I had to find and connect with you, grandmother. And actually, I found another grandmother by mistake. I thought it was you, and that was Zelda. And this got me into painting the portraits that I'm painting now, the cosmic portraits. And Zelda told me, why don't you talk with grandmother Threecrow? So I found
Threecrow, not plural.
Threecrow.
That's correct.
Mm.
Just so you know. That's
okay. That's interesting. I am curious about the meaning of it.
There's a big story.
And yes, so, and then I found out that grandmother, you are also an artist. And I thought that this will be such an honor to hear, and such I don't know, we need grandmother and we need wise grandmothers. And I feel so happy to sit now and speak with a grandmother and a wise one. So I don't want to talk too much. I would love to hear what you have to say about the role of art in these days and how it is connected to the prophecy that you were talking about.
Well, thank you so much, Michal. I hope I say your name correctly.
Perfect.
And it's kind of I'm seeing these little miracles occur in this particular timeline. I call them miracles because, well, it's sort of like, how do we meet up? Me here on Turtle Island and you over there in Israel. How could that be possible, right? And I call these meetups the meetup upon the medicine wheel of life. So something happens. Nothing is random. Everything is hooked, connected together. There's a reason for everything. And the timing is perfectly beautiful that we are meeting up, as the timing was perfectly beautiful when I was asked to speak on that podcast and give an interview, which I thought was really a beautiful gift, actually, a very beautiful gift. So I'm looking at the synchronicities and the meaning of everything in our relationship to all of creation. So here we are. You are there in the part of the world that I probably would never, ever have an opportunity to visit, but I don't know. Maybe, who knows? And here I am on Turtle Island, which is, if you didn't know, this is the United States, right? But in our Indian way is Turtle Island. This land is called the Turtle Island of the nations of Indian people. So your question, and you're connected these pieces. I guess you put out a seed about art in connection and relationship to the prophecies. And so you planted that seed. So it got me thinking, because it's not something I put together, but I could see that is definitely significant in relation to the prophecies. Now, I've been gifted many prophecies. So, and ever since I was a child, I was born with, I don't know what, if you know the term call, C-A-U-L, the call. It's a veil, a light veil skin over the face of the infant. So they're born that way. And the physician removes it, of course. But in the old days, long ago, in many cultures, the people knew that when a child was born with a call, that they were given visions. They had the sight, what is called the sight. In other words, they were able to see things, know things, receive prophecy. They were visionaries. We could say maybe an oracle. They were dreamers, receivers of guidance, and so on. So this was how I was born, with a call. So very early on, I had a different view of things, different visions, a sense of things. I'd say it's our natural gifts. Many were given these natural gifts. Many were probably born with a call, or perhaps just the natural gifts. Not everyone is born with a call. But many of us were born to be visionaries, to receive guidance, and so on. And I call that our original essence as sacred children. I feel all of humanity. Originally, all children are innocent and beautiful and sacred. And then we all are subject to varying circumstances that begins to mold us and mold our beliefs, and perhaps, well, I'll speak frankly because that's what I do, is to put fear into us or to distract us from our original gifts. Now, your creativity, I believe all the innocent, beautiful, sacred children are naturally creative, without fear, without shame, without judgment, right? Part of, if you see this little innocent one, they're in awe of everything, just in awe. You can look and see. And they're adventurous. They have no fear. They'd run off the cliff unless their parents said, hold on, don't go. But they're in wonder of everything. They're joyous, they're explorers, they're wanderers, they're adventurous, they're expressive, creatively, and in their own self, without fear or doubt, until things start to turn them in a different direction, where oftentimes we become ashamed of ourselves, or fear of our own beauty, joy, creativity, and expression. So this is part of what happens to many of us. And I've known this for many, many years, and I've worked with many women and men as well. And one prophecy given to me over 30-some years ago was about this timeline, about the return of the sacred feminine and the grandmother's teachings, because the grandmothers, yes, they do hold the wisdom and the knowledge and so on. So the grandmother's teachings, but the return of the sacred feminine is not just about the sacred feminine. It is about the sacred masculine as well. And so, but I will focus today on the sacred feminine and what that really meant. So I was told that women in the future, coming times, this is over 30 years ago, would be asked to lead the way to a great healing and a great transition, to be a part of that. And I said to the grandmothers in spirit who guide me, why do women have to do this? Why do we have to do this? And they responded and said, because you can. Because you are givers of life, healers, you carry the wisdoms, you have the knowledge within you. That is how you were come to be here. You have the knowledge of the sacred ways, the gifts of the creativity. So women are being asked to heal their wound they carry first in order to be able to lead the way. So the piece about healing the wound. So the wound, what is it, the wound that we carry as women? What is the wound our grandmothers carried, and our great-grandmothers, our aunties, our sisters? So we can, I'm sure you all are familiar with the sorrows of the sacred feminine. Yeah. So this has happened to the sacred feminine, the women all over the world. It does not matter your heritage or your religion. None of that comes into play. This is actually, I would say, a direct assault upon the sacred feminine and the great sacred mother. So I would say that these things I have discovered over my 80-some years of being guided and falling off cliffs and walking through fire and getting hit by 2x4s. I call that, when the mother, I would say the mother, the creator mother, because that's what I feel, is the mother is the creator. I don't like to use the term God, because God is a man-made word. Okay. So I shy away from that. And I believe, of course, that all things in nature, the feminine is the one who births life. All animals, the feminine, the mother's birth life, and so on. So I'm thinking in my way. So let me think now. If the feminine, the mother, the woman in all life, in all creation, gives birth, right? And I'm questioning, this is what I do, I question the universe. I ask the universe, so let me find this out. So I am told as a young girl who had to go to Catholic school, Catholic church, because my family was Catholic. And when I was very little, and the nuns said to us, you are the children of God, and God loves you, but you were born with sin. And if you're bad, you could go to hell. And in my little mind, in my little heart, I said, this doesn't seem right to me. I don't believe this for 1 minute, So that was my beginning with finding the truth of this organized religion that I was, put into. So the word God reminds me, and sort of like a trigger reaction to seeing what we were told is a God, And I don't know if you know, but it's the man in heaven with a beard, a robe, who sits on a throne, and there are pearly gates and so on. So in my time, in life, I really realized that the God, or the creator of all this magnificent, beautiful creation that is so extraordinary, so loving, the mother of earth, the life giver of everything, has to be feminine, has to be the feminine. So I say the mother creator. To please others, I say the mother, father creator, because I don't want to, I want people to hear what I'm saying. So I'm not going to be, radical, or I'll try not to be radical. So I'm hearing your question. I'm hearing your question, that you are wanting this question about creativity and the prophecy. So do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say that all what you said, it's very interesting, because a lot of us in this sisterhood, artist sisterhood, we are somehow connected to divine feminine, and not for me, it's not from a religious point of view. It's just like a search from within that started. I felt like I was orphaned, like there was just a male image of a God. And I know that we never looked between the legs. We don't know if it's a man or a woman, or maybe it's something beyond the man, or feminine or masculine. But I felt deep in my heart that I need a mother, that my
Mm.
mother was burnt, and that I don't know what it is to be a real woman. And somehow through painting, she's talking to me. And a lot of my artist sisters.
Yeah. Well, so it's very challenging. We don't have words. We don't have the correct words. You know, we don't have the language really to describe or express what is really going on. So when I say the mother, you know, or the creator is the mother, so I still don't want you to have this image really that okay that brings up, right? So and this is complex. It's not so easy identifying, you know, in that way. So, and that's a long conversation. So we will just say what I want to speak about is the feminine, the assault upon the feminine, sacred feminine, and the sacred masculine. So it's not that it's just we women, our sisters. It is also our brothers.
Absolutely.
And so this has created a divide, a separation, a disunity, a really difficult time for us because we have been deliberately pitted against each other. So, and that's a long conversation because you will say, well, who would do such a thing? That's a long conversation. There's lots to go into, lots of pathways. You know, I could go, but I'm going to try to hold a focus on this sacred creativity, the gift given to us, every one of us, is creativity. The original essence of ourself is creativity without fear or doubt, is joy, is, let's say, it's the adventurous without fear. It's the one who loves unconditionally, right, without fear, right? It is this connectedness to all things. It's the visionary that we are originally, as you may remember, I don't know. As a child, you may have known things. You may have seen things that nobody else did see. Or some people say, well, I had a friend when I was little and I used to talk to this friend. It was an imaginary friend. Well, people thought it was an imaginary friend, you know. Oh, your mother, or you said, oh, she has an imaginary friend. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that cute? And they talk all the time, but you get to a certain age and then they say, okay, you have to stop talking about this imaginary friend. People will think you're crazy. You know, that's unacceptable now. But you knew things when you were little, when you were at the closest to your connectedness to the mother and all creation. You knew things. And when you heard the adults speak about things, you know, you would say, well, that's not true, or I know something different. But you learned very early on to be quiet, to not speak. We're often told, you know, children should be seen but not heard, you know, or no one wants to really hear what you have to say because you don't know what you're talking about, or that sounds really crazy or odd. But you know within your whole self these things. This is your knowledge and your wisdom given to you. Well, your creativity, in natural creativity without fear, is a gift that's been given to every one of us. Well, when fear starts about your creativity, when you go to school perhaps, or show your work, I'll give you an example of this young boy who I knew many years ago. He was a wonderful artist, really amazing, just a free flow, beautiful creativity. And when he went to art class for the first time, after he was a year in school for the first time, he went to art class. And one day he came home and he was very down and feeling kind of like depressed. And I said, what, are you okay? You know, like what's going on? And he said, I hate art class. I hate my art teacher and I hate art class. I don't want to go. I said, well, what happened? And he said, well, we were told by the teacher that everyone in the class was to draw a tree, draw a tree, color the tree. So, and I did. And so I said, well, what happened? He said, well, the teacher went along the desks and talking about various pictures and came to my desk and held up a piece of paper, my drawing, and said, now everyone knows that trees are not purple, right? So she shamed him. She crushed his natural vision, his natural creativity. He saw purple trees. I've seen purple trees. I know there are many, many colors in all of creation, but you have to be able to see. But when you're told a tree is brown, the leaves are green. Now your brain takes that little information, puts it in one of the computer chips, right? Stores it away so that when your eyes see trees, you see brown, or if it's a birch, you'll see white and green leaves. So you've been indoctrinated when you're small how to see creation, how to see nature by what you've been told. So now you're restricted and you disbelieve your own vision, your own knowledge and wisdom, because you don't want to be made ashamed. You don't want to be, where all your schoolmates or the rest of the people say, well, you have no idea. You're not an artist. Trees aren't purple. So this is how the indoctrinations of our natural creativity become, crushed. We become fearful to express ourselves freely and to listen and to feel, right? To see, really. So our eyes are clouded. We don't really see because we've been trained not to see. Same thing with feeling, our sensitivities, our knowledge that we have within our own self, where we can sense something. And I will say, okay, well, women's intuition, right? This is a standard thing. Women have women's intuition. Ha ha, isn't that funny? Yeah, it's women's intuition. But this is a gift. This is real, women's intuition. Very real. So why do women have an intuition where they say the majority of men don't have that intuition, right? But we are made fun, and that's part of you could say, to crush the spirit of women. Their nature is intuition, intuitiveness, sensibility, knowledge, wisdom, sensory perceptions that we were all given. But all these things are part of the assault upon the sacred feminine and our true nature as creative beings. So, to be free to listen to your heart spirit, when the mother is talking and you pick up your brush or your pencil and you just feel the energy of the brush and the paint as it touches the paint, and you go toward the canvas and you are in relationship and oneness, connectedness to the voice and the guidance of the mother. So this is what is starting to happen, it seems, because there are many women now who are beginning to express their knowledge and connectedness to the mother, to the sacred mother.